Now today let's start with chapter number first, history of the computer. In this chapter I will tell you about the history of the computer, how computer developed, and then I will tell you about the different generations. So let's start with the chapter now. So for that the concept of counting is as old as early human race, right? So the first method of counting was on finger. The first method, when we used to count, we use our finger to count the number. Now also sometimes we use, but at the time of that, the olden time or the first method was counting on finger. So later on other method developed, we use pebbles, stones and sticks. But these methods sometimes lead to delays and errors. And we were more dependable on the device because the stones are needed, pebbles are needed, and then we can say that sticks we also have to find. So it was very delayed method and there were many errors. Now the first known calculating device was abacus. First is abacus. It is the first known calculating device. You can see this is the frame, these are the beads, this is your beam, these are your different rods, these are lower deck, what we call them earth, and upper is upper deck, we call them heaven. So history of computer can be traced back about 2000 years ago in China, where a device called abacus was designed and to solve simple problem. In this we can solve simple problems like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So what we can do only simple problems. So an abacus generally has two parts. I have told you, upper deck heaven, lower deck earth, right? So, and there is a mid bar in between and one each string has two beats, right? In the upper we have two beats on heaven and down earth we have 5 beats in each row, right? Then we have Pascal's adding machine. Louis Pascal, he invented this machine in 1642 like Blaise Pascal. He was only 19 years old and he developed this machine. And it is also called Pascaline, and it was the first mechanical calculating machine or calculator. It can perform, this machine can only perform addition and subtraction, right? So it consists of wheels where here the hundreds are marked, tens and units. This is here the units are marked ones, tens, hundred, ones, tens, hundred, right? And these represent the numbers. Then we have Leibniz calculating device. So in 1671, German mathematician Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz developed computer based on principle of Pascal's adding machine, which can perform all mathematical problems or operations like addition, subtraction, division and multiplication. And he named this machine, what is the name of this machine? That is Tappen-Rechner, right? Now Charles Babbage's different engine. Over the year, many new kinds of computing machine were developed. None of these were as successful as difference engine. So it created by Charles Babbage, an English mathematician. It was an automatic mechanical calculator which could do complex calculation. And what they do? They used very large number, right? For the next 10 years, Babbage continued what he did. He continued to improve his machine and he was trying to build a programmable computer capable of carrying out tasks which was based on set of instructions. And what he called it, analytical engine, right? Then in 1991, a tribute of his efforts, he perfectly working analytical engine was built using his original plans and design. And Charles Babbage is known as father of the computer, right? Now the first electronic computer. What is our first electronic computer? ENIAC. ENIAC, it is the first electronic numerical integrator and computer announced in 1946. It was the first general purpose computer, right? And it was designed by John Presper-Hackett, John William Macaulay and their team associates. For the Army of United States, some features of ENIAC are listed below. Like in 1 second, it could perform 5,000 addition, about 400 multiplication or 40 division. It contained how many vacuum tubes? 17,468. right? Then it occupied 1800 square feet of floor space and its weight is 30 tons. Next is we have 5 generation. Let's study about the first generation, which started in 1940 and it continued in 1956. So computer of first generation were made up of vacuum tubes and magnetic drum. They produced lot of heat. As a result, the filaments of these tubes, they got buried frequently, right? What they do, they burn frequently, and there are some features like they are of big size and it was difficult to handle them. They consume lot of electricity and generate lot of heat, and programming was done in machine language, right? Programming was done in machine language. It was quite expensive to operate, and these computers were extremely slow and they solved just one problem at a time. Like we have UNIVAC and MEL. Then we have second generation computer. It started in 1956 to 1964. Here vacuum tubes were replaced by transistors. So here transistors were used. They were small, they were faster, as well as they were cheaper and more energy efficient and more reliable than the first generation computer, right? Next is these computers stored instruction in memory. They were smaller in size than the first generation. They consumed less electricity and generated less heat as compared to first generation computer. Programming was done in assembly language, or in first generation programming was done, but that was done in machine language, right? That difference you have to keep in mind, right? They were faster than first generation, like IBM 7000, NCR 304, IBM 6050, IBM 1401. What are these? These are second generation computer. Now we have third generation computer. In this, integrated circuits were used, means ICs were used and they were replaced by ICs. Use of ICs improved their speed and efficiency. With the help of integrated circuits, their efficiency was increased and speed was also increased. Then we have the computer were smaller in size and cheaper, right? Then these computer punch cards were replaced by keyboards and monitor. They consume less electricity, right? And in this, programming was done in high level language, right? Then it was possible to run many applications at a time on this computer. Now IBM system 1360, IBM 1130, UNIVAC 1107, Apollo flight computer. What are these? These all are the example of third generation computer. Then we have fourth generation computer. Now the microprocessor was developed. In this type of generation, in this generation, microprocessor was developed. And the development of large scale integrated circuits and very large scale integrated circuits made it possible to put many integrated circuits together on a single chip called microprocessor. All the components of computer like CPU and the memory, input output device, they were placed on a single chip. And what are its features? Computers are so small in size that it can be easily carried out from one place to another. They were cheapest. Speed, accuracy and reliability, it was improved, and they use different types of memories in accessing speed and storage capacity. Graphical user interface, mouse and other handheld devices were also developed. Due to small size, because the size was small, they could link together and they form network. The internet is the outcome of this network. So we have IBM 4341, DEC 10, Star 1000, PUP second and Apple second. What are these? These are the fourth generation computer. Next we have fifth generation. It is of present time beyond. So in this we make use of ultra scale integrated circuit, ULSI. They were depend upon on us for instruction. We need to give correct and logic instructions to them, right? If the instructions have incorrect logic, the computer will stop processing. So fifth generation computers are the computers of the futures, and computer with artificial intelligence are being developed, which will enable them to function on their own. The main goal of this generation is to develop computer which could have following features like artificial intelligence, able to recognize voice, able to recognize image. It can solve complex problems right? Use more than one CPU, or it has faster processing speed. Like example, we have robots, quantum computers and nano computers. And first humanoid, which was built by BIT, a student that was in Pilani, it was named Acute, right? Now, I have told you about the different generation and the different things that we use in the 5 generation. Hope you understood. Now, we'll meet in the next class. That's all for today. Thank you.